3, 2, 1.
Let me fart.
And we're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Premier Madden podcast. Joining me today is my man Anthony. What's up, dude?
What's going on, Finn?
Decided
Good to be back.
Right. Decided to just out the gate get it going. Just start her up. No pre-talk. No pre-bullshitting. Plus, we don't have to wait on Rob. So since we're here on time.
And let's be honest, I don't give a fuck how you've been or how you're doing. So let's just talk about the Madden instead.
Let's talk about Madden because that's apparently we've had our Yelp reviews. Our
Yelp reviews.
We got some 1-star Yelp reviews for the podcast. So fun. Since we go off on tangents, let me tell you, we actually looked up the Yelp reviews around our area for local food places at work the other day, and we found our workplace's like cafeteria area had a Yelp review, and it was like the teriyaki chicken was dry. It's like, dude, we're a fucking tech company. Like, duh. Wow. Like, what are you reviewing our food for, dude? It's like which was weird because to get in, you either have to work for the company or have been there on business for the company. So you must have felt a real type of way if you were given access to a non-public cafeteria and they just decided to shit on their chicken teriyaki.
Yeah, that's wild.
But that's not why we're here. We're here today for the PML podcast. So it has been a while since we have it's been a while since we've done one kind of centered around the league. But since it's just me and you, I figured we could talk a little bit about how this season's going. What I do like this year so far is that it looks like we have quite a few new users that are going to kind of change the scope of the league heading into the next cycle. And then we'll talk a little bit about the Madden 20 news. I think the last time we talked, what was it? It was just the first thing. They talked a little bit about X Factor stuff, but it was more so towards the new face of the franchise game mode. Now we have some news in regards to the different abilities, the zone factor abilities that they're talking about, and some big changes to things like pass trajectories and user linebackers. I saw you posted your GIF in the chat earlier. So maybe we'll talk a little bit about that. I'm picking up. But first, let's look over at the NFC, man. You're sitting at third, 5-3. You played Tampa. Who won that game?
He did. The first time Bucks beat me in this league, man. I was pretty salty about that one. It was a good game, though.
Really? Yeah, I played him last year. Bucks is a he beat me. He beat me bad, actually. But it was one of those games where just at the end I was just kind of throwing up deep balls and just really trying to, all out to get the football back. So we played a close game. I know he's a real patient guy. He likes to run the ball when he can. He's got Benny Snell, who I think is coming off a Player of the Week with like 4 touchdowns on his own. But he's a real patient passer. He's down to really wait late in the plays and throw curls that open up super late. So if you don't get to him quick, that's what I noticed was he's not he'll be real patient. He'll play check down. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think I've never really super struggled against him. We've always had pretty good games. We play in the preseason every year too, though. So I guess I get a few extra looks at him, and I know that he's really patient with that running game. Almost like sort of bores you to death with it because even if he's picking up just the 1 or 2 yard carries, so he'll keep coming back to it.
Right. And if I'm being honest, outside of the Niners, let me pull up the Niners here. It looks like you guys are back to possibly playing. Did you guys play an NFC Championship last year, or did you beat him earlier in the playoffs and then you played Seattle? Is that how that ended up working?
Yeah. No, I was pretty pumped last year. I was falling apart. That was when I was 1-4, and then I played him, and he was 5-0 or 6-0 or something like that at that point, and I beat him. And that was kind of the game that changed my whole season around last year. And then he only finished with 1 loss. So I was a little nervous heading into our playoff matchup, thinking that, he was going to be coming back for redemption. It was another really good game, though. And so I felt like I had his number. But he definitely brought all hands on deck for our game and beat me in it pretty soundly. So.
Gotcha. And one, you got the ball under your belt. I think we're just using the regular season as learning opportunities. I think another thing that you match up well with him is he beats people by playing the let's make the least amount of mistakes as possible. And your ability to run the football with your team and play good defense means you can match people in those. And I think that's a big reason why you won the bowl, is because you can absolutely play that. Yeah, dude, I'll run 80% of the time and just not.
Well, it's like I'm not
worried.
worried if you know that I'm running it on first down and probably second down. I'm not worried if you know that that's what's going to happen. I'm still going to find whatever plays are your weakness to run it on you eventually. Now, today I actually played a new guy, Redskins, and we actually had to start twice. He had the old lost power thing go on. Say what you want about that. But we were playing a game, and he was just shutting everything I had down in running game. And I don't know, man. I don't know. It's the first time we've played, so it was kind of I was feeling him out a little bit. But I wasn't able to really stop his offense consistently either. It seemed like whenever I had him 3rd and long or something, he'd get some crazy play. You saw that play that I posted was a completion. It was a first down. I don't know if it was kind of hard to tell from the GIF once I posted it that it wasn't just an incomplete pass, because I feel like that animation happens all the time where two guys go up and one guy like smacks it out of the hands like as they're coming down. But no, that was a 2nd and 16 completion through Leighton Vander Esch's arms. I was quite salty about that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, and I did see that was a catch. I played Redskins as well. I was his first game, and I never want to judge somebody off of their very first game in the league. But I think you did to him kind of what I did to Falcons last year, and sometimes, and even by extension to Giants this year, which is when I'm playing newer guys in the league. When I'm playing these newer guys in the league or guys I've never played before, Falcons wasn't new, but I'd never really played him. I try to play that patient, because I just know, I'm so confident in my game. I'm like, as long as I just come out the gate and don't make a bunch of mistakes and get myself down, then I'm not going to be worried later. But then that kind of kills the rhythm for later in the game. And then I'm like, oh, junk. I'm really struggling right now. So, but
and it really hurt that we had to restart after it was 13-14. He actually had just gone up. And but the first play of the game was a pick six to my linebacker, which was that's a real tone setter for a game.
Right.
And I had no problems. I got the ball the next drive, went up and scored. It was 13-7. I missed a field goal extra point because damn wind in FedEx Field was super trippy. But once I lost that, I didn't even think we were going to play again. And so when you lose that momentum in the game and in life, it sucks, man.
Right. And looking at the Redskins record, I beat him 38-19. He beat the Giants 17-10, and the Eagles came out, beat him 35-12. The Buccaneers beat him 28-3. Here's the common denominator in teams that are beating him. Eagles beat him twice, 21-7, is they pass the ball extremely well.
Yeah. And see, like you said, I came out pretty conservative.
Right.
I'm not afraid to pass the ball around, that's for sure. And I had a lot more success in the second half when I started just opening it up a little bit more. But
did you feel like you ran the ball well? I feel like he ran the ball well against me. He was one of the. He's got Darius.
At Daddy Leagues, Darius guys had 19 attempts for 129, and this 42-yard was his long run. Was right after that play that I posted, where I was super salty. I was looking down at the Elgato program, trying to rewind the video back to that. So I was like, yeah, I'm definitely getting a clip of this later. And I knew it was going to be kind of a game defining play. And then while I'm doing that, I look up and he's busting off this big run because I was not paying as close attention. So that was kind of a user error on my part too. But he definitely was running the ball well.
Yeah, he definitely isn't the kind of guy who's going to air it out. But I do feel like he can run the ball. And as long as he can, as long as he can kind of figure out the passing game. And once again, he's brand new to the league, playing on a team that was not developed. So sitting at 4-4, I don't know.
Quarterback.
Right. I don't know where he sits in the playoff run at 4-4, but definitely a solid new user. And it's interesting to see guys that are, it's interesting to see guys that are, they're really good at this, that. Normally it's just guys that just get exposed out the gate, or guys that are really good at everything. Whereas he seems to be a guy who can win against a team that wants to run. He'd match up well against Natural or something like that. So
this is actually, he's right there. He's 7th seed right now, and this is a good time to kind of jump back into it. We're kind of almost at a midseason break here with 49ers 8-0 leading the pack here, and It's
So
pretty
is he
stacked up
is
here.
he is he real or fake? You know?
I haven't actually been able to check out any of his games. So the last one we had, the last 49ers user came in kind of like this too. So we'll see. Wasn't that your boy though, right?
Yeah. All right. So let's talk because that dude ended up beating me in a Super Bowl in my Xbox league. And I was always hyping him up, and I hype him up just because we talk trash. We're big trash talkers in our other league, so like bringing him in, like it was kind of like almost setting him up for failure. Um, he's really good. He is really, really good. His issue is he built his whole game for Madden 17 around being the or Madden 19 around being the Titans. He wants to run the
Okay.
football. He's going to use her Dane Crookshank. Like he's normally has been a linebacker user. Then he decided he wanted to be a free safety user. He just wanted to figure out, and he was really good at it. But then he just tried to like copy and paste that to this Niners team, and it did well. But then he struggled, and then he was in like 9 leagues, copying and pasting the same scheme to all these teams, and he got bored with it. So that's, I guess, my excuse. I think he was good enough to compete in this league for sure, but he dipped out. Then the Niners went ghost. But I will say this: I don't even know if he's played the Texans that were 1-6. He had Cardinals, Colts. I've played Colts when he was Chargers. They talked about it. Colts was recently on the league report with Pats. I don't think Colts is bad. I remember when I beat him. Once again, it was like it's your first game in the league. Like you're not expecting to come in and play somebody, not to brag, but that plays like me. You know what I'm saying? Like you just don't know, and then you get caught by a couple user picks, and then you're like, oh fuck, I'm down 14, whatever, and then game's over. If you go in there expecting the person you play in a new league to be good, I think it may have changed that game a bit. So Colts, he beat Rob. I think he's coming off a win versus Rob, but he lost to this Niners team 29-10. Dude beat the Packers. I know a game that they definitely played. He beat the Seahawks 36-21. I'm going to open up that in a second. But other than that, man, he really hasn't played anybody, And I know
Really?
he's dealing with, I know he's dealing with a rookie quarterback. I know he runs the ball well. Looks like Jerick McKinnon. It's going for big yards. But really, I don't know. I don't know where I feel about him. I mean, 8-0 is 8-0, but I also joined the league and went like 16-0 with an asterisk because I was playing a last place division record. You know what I'm saying? Or division schedule. So yeah, I would definitely say he's talented, but I don't think that anything about his record indicates that he's going to be better than you.
I mean, I think his schedule is checking out. I mean, Seahawks is pretty good. Seahawks is actually really good.
I've never played Seahawks. It just looks like the moment he can't run the ball, it's a wrap. Dude threw 6 interceptions in that game, and yet ran for 215. Like I'm just waiting for him to try and run like whatever he runs. Like lock that down, and it's over.
Well, he also got rid of Russell Wilson, which was
big controversial play.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think his schedule looks all right. It looks like he's beaten who he's been asked to beat, basically. And his division's actually pretty tough. The rest of the guys in there are pretty solid. Cardinals is pretty solid.
Yeah, second game against Seattle will be an interesting one for sure.
Actually hasn't played Rams yet, though, so.
Oh, Q isn't. I mean, he got his PlayStation back, or a new PlayStation, so he's got that going for him.
Cool.
Let's see. You're depending on win by the Eagles, you're going to be both 5-3 in your guys' division. But I think for the most part, you figured his game out. I wouldn't be too concerned. Minnesota sitting at 5.
He brings it still pretty well.
Does he? Does he really?
He definitely does not let me off easy like he did the first year.
Right. And as long as Atlanta, Detroit, Arizona continue to kind of fade back, that kind of looks like the playoff picture here as you guys start to separate yourselves. It'll be between you and Eagles, between probably a 3rd seed and a wild card.
Yeah, and we've still got 2 games against each other to play. So
right, Seattle and San Francisco, which probably means assuming one of those teams literally might be 14-2 with a wild card slot for Seattle or San Francisco. Yeah. And then Minnesota, he's sitting at 5-2 right now.
Sounds like his trash talking is about to equal his play here now. So it's always good when your mouth can catch up, or your game can catch up to your mouth a little bit.
let's peek the old schedule here and see where we're at. I mean, he made some big moves. He's got a decent team. He's up there in like third for points scored, but he has lost to Seattle. He beat the Bears. Oh, junk. Where did that go? I was supposed to – I think I went backwards.
Oof. Mike stomped him, though. Goodness, 37-7.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get.
He was feeling himself, too, coming off of 41-7.
Beat the Falcons, the dude that literally just man blitzes the whole time. Like, if you expose that early. Like, I did lose the Falcons last year. I'm putting that loss on Patrick Mahomes 100%. And I don't mean to take away from Atlanta there. He beat me. Man blitz with a talented man blitz team, like, if you could pull it off, you pull it off. But there's just so many passes that Patrick missed that were just wide open. Yeah. And now outside of that, he's played a 2-6 Packers who's busy with finals. He's played the Lions. He's played the Falcons. The one team that
is that what's wrong with Packers? They're busy with finals right now?
Yeah, so every team over 500 that he's played, he's lost to. One of them being an absolute week 3 beatdown. So something to look out for. Lions might creep back into the picture there, but we'll see. I mean, it's a weak division, but either way, that dude's going to end up playing the Seattle Seahawks at the Niners and the wild card. It's going to be – it might be an early exit unless he can figure something out. But if you can't throw the ball against those teams with his 70 overall quarterbacks, I don't really see much going on.
Yeah, he might develop. What has he got? Josh Jackson? What's he up to now? I know he's been talking him up. 75 overall now. He's good.
Speaking of the Bengals, he's down 31-6 to natural right now.
Oof.
Yeah, it's in the just started the second half. So I played Mike for the first time. Well, second time with an asterisk. Mike subbed in for the Lions on season 2 for me.
Oh, that's right.
He took a little ass whooping. But, I mean, that was expected, right? I mean, he doesn't know that team, doesn't play that team, didn't develop that team.
Yeah.
So, but then he came in and Mike is just he's just such a thinker, dudes that just really get out there, and it doesn't seem fluid. It doesn't seem muscle memory to him. It just seems like every single play he's just trying to think. Sometimes he thinks smartly. Sometimes he outthinks himself. But I will say it takes for fucking ever at the line of scrimmage, dude. Like, oh, my God. Like, I get really triggered, dude. I get really triggered when people just sit there. I'm like, what are we doing? I'm like, what are we doing? You have like 4 options. Pick one. I get mad triggered. But he played a lot of dump off passes. I think at one point he was like 8 for 10 for 30 yards. Like, he did not want to throw the ball deep. Real patient. So once I got up a couple touchdowns, it was just it was patience at that point. Just trying to force him to throw deep, but will not look like he's going to get a Ravens upset win this season. Let's move over. I mean, Ravens and I are sitting at the top of the AFC. We play week 15, I believe. So one of us will lose our O. It may be before that. I've kind of cleared through the AFC North so far. I've played half of them. I played Browns and Bengals, beat them. But I definitely have some tough games. I think I play your Eagles this year. I play your division this year. So I get Eagles, so I'm going to have a fun time with Terry McLaurin and the boys. But we're sitting comfortable at the top of the AFC. Colts sits behind us at 5-3. And then there's a 3-way tie for the top of the AFC East. That's the Bills, Pats, and Dolphins, all set at 4-3. And if I'm not mistaken, it might be the whole division, dude. Yeah, the whole division is at 4-3 right now for the AFC East.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, I think everybody and their mom expects Rob to win that one.
Yeah, but I don't know. He's been talking a lot. He's definitely lost the gap, I think. The skill gap is closing in that division. He's no longer the guy that can just come in and play with anybody and be clearly better. These guys now, or at least Patriots has had a few seasons to sort of build his team into something he wants and get familiar with the way that Rob plays. And I think that those guys are closing the gap on him for sure. Better watch out. Watch his back.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, Patriots has been to the playoffs, hasn't he? So There's possibility, but Rob just needs to get it in gear. I don't know what's going on with him.
I could see Rob just turning it on at the end here, and they're actually up this week too. Patriots, Bills, and then you've got him next week. So, and then he's got Buccaneers after that. He's got a tough little 3-game stretch there.
Right? Yeah. If he loses the Pats and then loses to me and Bucks, he might be in trouble. He might be walking into that 4-6.
Yeah.
Here shortly. So I would love to get payback for that Hail Mary, dude. I'd love to get some payback for that. So
He's actually got a kind of a challenging little schedule. He's got no gimmies here. I mean, Titans, his record might look like he's the worst team left on the schedule, but he's no slouch. And on the road, I definitely think that he could give Bills a game there. So, yeah, Rob, if you're listening, man, and you better be listening, you better step your game up here, man, because you're looking at getting overtaken in the East.
Yeah, dude, if you miss playoffs in that division, it's going to be –
Oh, see, I don't put the other guys down like that.
We're going to do an award every year for the biggest underachiever. It's going to be the Rob Awards.
Dolphins is still somewhat new, right? And this is second season with us?
JRKD, yeah.
Once again, hey, sorry about that trade falling apart, man. I just
oh, y'all had a deal?
Yeah, dude. I backed out on it, man. I had a first and a third for Connor Williams and Michael Gallup. Both guys were in contract years, and I don't know. I wanted to re-sign him. I could re-sign him, but I also wanted to have something to play for in the draft. I wanted some pieces. He was not 4-3 at that time. I think he was maybe 2-3 when we first started talking, or maybe 3-3. So I was like, all right, so this first round pick might be relatively high. We had the trade all lined up. I submitted it, and I went out and played my game, and Lyle Collins gave up 3 sacks at right tackle in his first game. I benched the guys I was going to trade because I didn't want them to get hurt.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had a superstar guard to move in for Lyle Collins, shift Lyle Collins back out to right tackle. I had my first round pick from last year who got quick development at wide receiver and was the same thing as Gallup, but 6'4" instead of 6'1". I was so ready to slide him right into the starting lineup. He gets injured after 4 catches for 7 weeks. Lyle Collins gives up 3 sacks at right tackle. I was like, yeah, no, this isn't going to work for me. I need to be fully loaded here to try and make another run. I can't go into it limping.
Yeah, it's always worth it to kind of sub those guys out for a game and see how your team performs without them for a trade. Understand that you're not playing with the compensation you're getting in return, but especially for the trade like you had, which was picks related, it's good to kind of get an idea. And also, even though me and you talked about it, and I think that's good value. We're at so late in the cycle that I'm not really too concerned about those picks or anything like that.
Exactly.
So,
like I said, it was just more that I didn't want to have to re-sign them. I didn't want to just let them go to free agency either. I wanted to get something out of them. But in the end, I actually was able to just re-sign both of them for relatively affordable contracts, and they're just, I think, more valuable. And I kind of like keeping guys that we drafted, homegrown stuff. They were the first rookie class for Madden 19 anyways, so it makes sense to keep them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I showed the contract to Connor Williams today, and as an example of look at how broken these contracts are. This is ridiculous. And then you guys are all piled on like, oh, well, you really shouldn't offer 7-year contracts because everyone knows it's a glitch.
I didn't say everybody knew it was a glitch.
And then I went and I looked at everybody's. I was like, man, is nobody else offering 7-round contracts? And I went through the salaries of everybody else and sorted by length. I see 7, 7, 7, 7, 7 on like basically everybody's roster. I was like, these guys.
Right. You won't find that in Kansas City. Okay, we play with honor and integrity. Okay, you're gonna do it right now. Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure every team had at least 2 or 3 of them.
I bet you Tyreek doesn't even have a 7-year deal, bro.
But then I went to Browns, who not to call him out, but he felt the need to call me out, and he's the one had the 68 overall linebacker on a 7-year contract, and he's trying to trade Baker Mayfield, a 91 overall quarterback. Like, that's Sim. Get out of here. He's got Myles Garrett's on an 8-year contract right now. So,
right, yeah. Like if they ask for it, I'm fine with that. But other than that, I don't really. Let me see what Tyreek's at.
What's the difference? 4, 7. What's the difference? 24-year-old offensive lineman should get a 7-year deal in Madden.
Six-year deal for Tyreek. So before we start,
oh, damn. All right.
with a $92 million signing bonus. I fucked up somewhere, dog.
Wow. Holy. Oh my God.
What did I do?
I don't know, man.
You know what?
Drunk?
For Tyreek, chances are I was drunk. I do most of my team management while drinking, but also it's Tyreek Hill. So whatever the fuck he asked for, so whatever the fuck I gave him, I didn't have time to fuck around with that. 98. I have him at 98 speed, 99 Excel. So let's not. So man, Daddy Leagues and their fucking little charts are fantastic. I think I'm better without Tyreek Hill, bro. It's really.
Hey, if you could take that cap penalty, I'd say send him my way. Oh,
60,
wow. 61 mil? Dude, yeah, you fucked something up here, man.
Well, I'm not trading Tyreek, but I just think that without him on the field, my mind isn't thinking I need to get the ball deep right now or I should be exploiting it deep. I think it's just like I have talented guys, but I also have my limitations, and it forces me to play more balance. And I think the best version of this team has Tyreek Hill out there, but I think my mindset and offense is more efficient when I'm not. Because right now this year he's only played him one game. He's got 3 catches, 70 yards, but we're 7-0 and we're moving the ball pretty well compared to last year. So we'll see how it all works itself out. But let's move on. We talked a little bit about I want to talk to you about team selection. I know you're a Cowboys fan, so you're probably going to want to live in there. But the big news that came out in Madden 20 recently is about the passing trajectories and the zone abilities. So I guess I'll elaborate a little bit more on the zone abilities that we did last time. I'm going to pull up the pictures of the Mahomes ones because they are freaking silly, dude. So just to refresh your memory here, they changed the depth traits from normal to it's now normal, star, superstar, and superstar X factor. Superstars all have different traits assigned to them, to the players, and then the superstar X factors have these extra zone abilities, and that means after you have completed an in-game like an in-game thing, kind of like 2K if you've ever played 2K. Like after you kind of get hot in the game per se, your X factor will kick in, which I think is good. Some people were worried about it being an unsim thing, but you look at 2K, they literally have people getting hot. Like some people get in the zone, and you want to be able to. Madden doesn't have that. We have what we consider placebo, or just momentum, but there isn't like a measurable thing that affects the game after a player has gotten a couple catches in a row or quarterback has completed. So once you've completed an in-game task, for Patrick Mahomes specifically, once you've completed a certain amount of 30-yard in the air passes, you get this superstar factor called bazooka, which is when you're in the zone, a maximum throw distance is increased to 80 yards. So, which is fucking bonkers. That you can just launch it now 80. I don't know. With him being 99, I don't know what that maxes out at. Probably 75. But to give it another 5, it's pretty bonkers. His star abilities, dashing deadeye, which is perfect passing accuracy when throwing on the run when outside of the pocket. So throwing on the run outside the pocket, perfect passing accuracy. I don't know if that means after it's like in the rhythm, or if that means every time he's on the run, he has perfect passing accuracy. Like all of his stats go up to 99 when he's throwing on the run, which should be kind of wild, right? He's got red zone deadeye, which is perfect passing accuracy inside of the red zone. And both of these are excluding high-low throws, excluding under pressure, and excluding crossbody throws, because all of those have their own deadeye. Like he also has what's called the no-look deadeye, probably named after that little no-look pass he had in the season. Perfect passing accuracy when making a crossbody throw. So it looks like all the different throw types are separated in the categories: high-low, red zone, under pressure, on the run, and then they're all given a dead-eye star ability that a quarterback can have. So whenever they make those throws, their rates literally go up to 99, which is wild. It's really going to make you feel like you have a star quarterback. And then escape artist, elite speed and agility when scrambling behind the line of scrimmage on passing plays. So making mobile quarterbacks feel mobile. I'm interested to see how that works for guys like Cam and Russell, and, of course, Lamar.
It's going to make it where it probably won't even feel right not having a mobile quarterback, if that makes sense. Like, you feel it's like mud. You'll feel like you're missing out on something if you just have a regular pocket passer because you don't have that extra dynamic. But they could, get the accuracy right and make it so that they're a little bit more dangerous to throw with. But I feel like they try to do that anyways, and it comes across as just like sporadic and doesn't really make sense. Like, your guy will just be feet perfectly set in the pocket and just throw this erratic pass for no reason.
Right. One of the things I guess they worked on this year was instead of just having an end-all be-all throwing motion for each quarterback, they started recording actual quarterback throwing motions, and they had Patrick come in and throw a short pass and then throw a long pass. Nice. So they're timed differently. So that would be nice to see. It looks like because of their focus on obviously the face of the franchise, that means they're really addressing quarterback play. And really, as much as we complain about the line, as much as we complain about other things, the passing is what makes the NFL go around. So addressing passing from a quarterback perspective is going to affect it from the linebacker. And that's how I want to segue into what I think is going to be the biggest factor in, well, depends on what league you're in, but for most leagues, this is going to be the biggest factor in terms of what team you're choosing, which is they have now, and I'm going to try and scroll down here. So once again, they've tried to work on passing trajectory to make it smarter. When you're throwing a downfield pass, gone should be the days of a linebacker right at the line of scrimmage intercepting a 15, 20-yard throw down the line. But they've also taken out the animations for – so the super jump, super athletic animations that linebackers have now to go up and get the football.
Yeah.
Those are taking out. Like right now, we could pick up any linebacker and we can make those plays in the game. As long as they have an appropriate jump stat or agility or whatever. But they could be 68, 70 overall. Still get those crazy. They've taken those out. Linebackers cannot get those animations unless it's one of their superstar traits that we talked about earlier. So guys like Bobby Wagner, guys like Luke Kuechly, true elite linebackers.
I mean, Leighton Vander Esch is going to have that too, right? So
Right. So not something you need to worry about. But here's another thing, right, is people have gotten used to picking a team of good linebackers. One of them's the CPU linebacker, and then they user a bad one. But now you're going to see people usering Kuechly, usering Bobby, which is not something people would normally do, right? So the meta is changing because now you have to make sure all your linebackers are good. You can't just have two good ones or two fast ones, two good ones, and one bad. Like you're just going to get dotted up deep.
That's exactly what I have got right now. So yeah,
right. So that's going to be huge. And then once again, people having to make smart decisions like, well, if I want to get these user picks, if I want to get the crazy user picks, I have to user Luke. But that also means that unless you're really fucking good at it, using a linebacker that's really good hurts you, especially in the run game, because those guys make the right angles, the right pursuit angles. But when you're doing it yourself, that can kind of take it out of the way. So like you're good with that. You're good at playing running lanes, but somebody else that commits to the pass.
Not today, man.
It's not really something that could, it might really affect it. But really the big thing is people are going to, I think that's going to be more important than getting crazy. I think in my mind, I'm thinking people's initial jumps are going to go and get the Cardinals, the Ravens, Russell Wilson, Cam Newton. People are going to want those guys, those teams. So now my focus should be, unless I can get a true stud of a player on offense, I need to be thinking, well, what kind of defense fits me in position to win? I think a team that just got really way more valuable is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because they had the talented receiving core, but all of their linebackers, Levante David, Quan Alexander, and now Devin White are all going to be phenomenal. And they're really good. They've already kind of addressed their front seven.
Well, Quan actually went to 49ers this offseason, right?
No way. Did I miss that?
Yeah.
Is that why they You know who I else missed going in the Niners was you're right. Geez, I really thought Quan Alexander stayed. I missed Tevin Coleman going to the Niners as well. I read that the other day, and I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, I think that was a
Christ,
brilliant pickup, man.
Yeah.
Because he was there with Shanahan when they went to the Super Bowl and stuff. So
Fair play. Yeah, fair play.
he's seen the guy up close. He knows, and the Shanahans when they're running backs, man. Like,
right. They introduced a pump fake mechanic this year as well. Something I'm reading. I don't know what that's going to matter. What I would like to see is when I do a pump fake mechanic on your screen, there's like a slight camera movement.
that would be cool.
That mimics throwing. That's the only way I can see it matter because you're one of the top 2, top 3 user linebackers in the league. How many times are you watching the quarterback? You're not.
Yeah.
For me, it's always just he's just in the peripheral. I'm watching the routes downfield. So your pump fake doesn't do anything. So unless it's going to allow us to really – now, if we could isolate the cover 3 safety, the one high cover 3 safety with the pump fake, I'm all for it. That means now you have to make sure you have the right safety playing deep middle. Because right now it's a crapshoot. Like if you run cover 3 – it's way – I mean, people really rely on it. But now if you put the wrong safety back there, he might be able to get pump faked and get thrown off of playing one of the routes deep. So that would be nice to see how that works out. But another thing is just how long is it going to take, and will it truly have any effect, or is it just going to be because people aren't watching that? So, but another thing to consider for PML and team selection, like I was talking about the linebackers, is that animation is now only for, once again, specific linebackers, and then DBs still have that animation. So I could see people just playing safety at sub linebacker, and getting past that. But once again, I would like to see that have an instant hit to run defense. And then I think that's your trade-off, like a legit, true, like, we're just getting ran all over. Like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah,
you can have them in there.
Draw a useful play again.
So, I mean, really, everything else is just kind of really vague. Gang sacks now. I really think they need to just fix how all the extra players react to, like, whenever somebody gets in the tackle animation. Because we've seen it. They're tackle animations where one dude, it's been chosen to break the tackle, and then none of the other players just jump on the dude who's just standing there. Remember that screenshot of Rob with Kareem Hunt where I had literally 9 Chiefs just chilling around, but because he was going through a tackle animation with one player, the rest of them were just standing there waiting?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit ridiculous. Okay, here's the limits of lurking linebackers. I'm going to read it. In addition to throw trajectory tuning mentioned previously, we've also made big changes with jumping interceptions over the middle versus passing plays. Only defensive backs will be able to execute the athletic jumping interceptions in Madden 20, while linebackers and defensive linemen will not be able to make acrobatic catches over the middle. If a user tries to intercept a pass with one of these bigger defenders that he can't reach, the player will trigger a catch animation, but he will not reach the ball. However, we have picked out the best ball in the air linebackers and equipped them with a superstar ability to allow them to get up in the air and make spectacular catches when applicable. So that's good. I think that was that's just killed a lot of the in real life meta of football. Transitioning to Madden has been just the ability to just go up and grab ridiculous plays. I would like to see maybe just make it some more tips or block passes or whatever. It doesn't always have to be a pick.
That's really what needs to happen is, like, I'd love to see it hit their hands a lot, like, and just fall short. Like, they don't need to make these crazy catches, but at the same time, like, I never use the deflection button because I just don't feel – I feel like I've got a better chance of making the pick. Like, the risk reward for using the SWAT and the SWAT not working versus just going ahead and trying to pick it off every time is just not worth it to me.
Right, because even though this is like it's a trait-based thing, like if I have a linebacker who is 87 speed, 6'3" with 90 jumping, I shouldn't be limited just because there's no trait. So I would like to see, like you said, maybe instead of trying to catch it with him because he doesn't have the trait to make those plays, maybe I just start using the swap button and that allows it to be better. So that's what I want to see. What I am concerned about is how this all gets addressed to rookies. The X factors and the zone abilities. It looks like zone abilities, you won't even find out if they have the ability to get zone abilities for a rookie until halfway through the season. Like, you'll know that he's superstar Deborah higher going after you draft him instantly, but you don't know if he's got the X factor. That doesn't come out until halfway through the season. But what I'm concerned about is the meta for that. I'm saying meta a ton, but the meta to figure out how to get maybe, is it really like, oh, it's determined when you draft him if he has it or not, but you don't find out until halfway? Or is it he is in limbo between the two, superstar, X Factor, and then based on how he plays, he gets X Factor? Because then we're going to see people stat padding those players early in the year to get the X Factor ability, which I think is going to be a little lame, and then lead to a bunch of overpowered stuff, especially depending on how many superstar players get drafted. Game speeds are out of the game now. Looks like they're just – and they need to take out the whole sim arcade and
yeah, I agree.
But it looks like they're in a step in the right direction.
I feel like with the 3 different forms of game or whatever, it spreads them too thin, and they're not paying enough attention to one. Just make the game good overall. Like, we don't need 3 different modes. Just make the game universally an enjoyable game, and I think people will respect that and appreciate that more than you getting 3 different modes wrong.
Gotcha. To note for the zone abilities, there's an objective, and then there's a knockout, which is if you throw it for Mahomes, if you take a sack or you throw an interception, your zone ability goes away. So, and you having another player's superstar abilities, so, say a receiver has, a crazy or his zone ability impacted, and then you have a corner, his zone ability is impacted or is activated, then that'll kind of even it out. They released Julian Edelman's as well. He's not a zone. He just has superstar abilities. So his is slot-o-matic. He excels at route running and contested catches when running routes from the slot. So it's got a limit. Excels at route running and contested catches. I don't know what that means in terms of what it ups the stats-wise or percentages of him getting a catch. But that only applies when he's in the slot. Now, here's my counter, and my question is does that even matter when half of I would say 90% of interceptions in this game do not come from contested catches. They come from jumping in front of the route. And not jumping in front of the route from a man perspective, what does route running and contested catches matter when cover 3, the outside linebackers in cover 3 get out to the sideline super fast. So you can't run out routes, and then you just use their underneath routes. And then 2, half of a throw, picks are just them making crazy plays in front of the zone. So the ball never gets to the receiver for a contested catch or a 1v1. So I'd like to see the gameplay kind of be able to match that. He also has pass lead. Oh, here's some other examples. All right, pass lead elite, extended precision passing on all throws except for high and low throw. Pocket dead eye, perfect accuracy when you're set in the pocket. Matchup nightmare, gets open and wins contested catches when covered by a single linebacker or defensive lineman. So that just makes Theo. So we're just gonna call that the Theo Riddick Award. It looks like it's more towards running backs. And then edge rush elite, frequently uses dominant pass rush moves when rushing from a defensive end position. And I like it. If I have a star, he should feel like a star. So that seems, and that's all I'll really go in terms of that. Here on the 23rd, we're going to have some more info regarding, this is the second part of the deep dive that's going to come out. So I'm definitely
Once again, the only thing I worry about with these X Factors is that sometimes to me the stars do feel like stars, and I don't feel like they need to feel like a star every single play or at least even every single game. So I worry that people will there's no limit on, just random matches or whatever. Like we play in these sim leagues because we want there to be some sort of rules and regulations. But if you're just playing, an average Joe, what's going to stop them from just targeting their star player on a deep bomb, their star wide receiver, their star quarterback on a deep bomb every single play? And the odds are in your favor. If you do that you're going to have more success because these star players are just that much better and elite than all the other players on the field. That's my only concern. Is this sounds awesome, and the 13-year-old version of myself would have been obsessed with it, but I just worry that they're just going for those back of the box features too much, and I don't know if this will actually make the game better. In fact, I think it might even it could blow up in their face, and a game that's already been played with random lottery animations is just going to now be even worse with that. Now there's going to be even more of those. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but I do think that if every year we're just getting thrown different features, big features at us, sooner or later, things are going to catch up with you, especially if you don't address the little things. But it does look like they're doing some little tuning. I do like these specific changes, so I'm not too upset about it. But I definitely agree with you. Like, if done wrong, it could go bad. But I've always, one of my chief complaints, and I'll say it again, said our last podcast, was quarterbacks can't even juke in the backfield.
Yeah.
So many little things that are just football that you just can't do. So the more that if you had a trait that says this quarterback can now do jukes in the backfield, or, press this button, they can do jukes in the backfield. Yeah, I love that. That's football, and that separates them, and it stops guys like people like with Tom Brady trying to do it, and it can only be activated with that special trait, which means that it's all not button maps. So like you could have a special trait for Tom, something with the right stick that's separate for, Tom Brady, that isn't juking around, but maybe it's, I don't know, something having to do with leading passes or looking off a player or whatever the case may be. You don't want to overthink it. We call it nuke it in the Navy. We don't want to nuke it, think too hard on it, but I think it's a step in the right direction. Making guys, because right now the ability to just take speed and whore cover three and, it doesn't work. I should feel like if I got Antonio Brown, I should feel like I could go to him at any play, and it literally takes a double team, or it literally takes focus. Because right now you don't have to focus; you could just run the same thing over and over, and then it works, and then you win games. And you're like, dude, I have Tyreek Hill. How is it that not one time? Why is he getting dominated, or why? Without any actual real attention, it's just he can just sit in this coverage all day, like. One of the things I was planning in midday in my little buddies league, and I really want to see is I want to see the receiver knowledge of sitting down in a zone. My guy ran a zone in the cover three, and it was just wide open. But because he's programmed to run, I said ran a zone. He ran a post in the cover three in the middle of the field, and because he's programmed to just keep running, the throw ended up leading him right to the safety, and it just makes sense for him to just sit down. Just wait for it. So I'd like to see some of those logic things get played in, but by adding these traits, it means they're adding animations and adding smarter play to certain players. So that's where I think it's a step in the right direction. Ooh, we're talking a lot. It's been almost an hour. If not,
so it goes when Rob's not here to slow us down.
Yeah, well, when I felt bad because we've been talking, and I have to go, oh, yeah, Rob, did you have thoughts on any of the things we said in the last 10 minutes? So I appeared on the league report with the Patriots, and he made me do what might have been the most soul-draining analysis of the league. He was like, yeah, we did like a little content, and we released the MVP candidates that we think are going to make it. And I was like, oh, okay, like a list of maybe like 5 to 10. He was like, yeah, we're going to go through and you just kind of let me know like what you think, if they think they have a chance, what percentage you think they have a chance of winning MVP, and we'll talk about it. And I was like, all right, cool. Nah, dude, this was 32 candidates for MVP.
Wow.
And it was like, hey, Von Miller has 2 sacks. What's his chance? And I'm like, what the fuck do you think? Like
minimal.
0. Next.
30 interceptions on top of those sacks.
So, and to be fair, we did skip through a couple fast, but it was just like, I loved his league report. I don't know if you watched it at all. It definitely has just like a chilled out vibe, just him talking about it. Even though I was the first guest on, dude, I kind of like the show without guest.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, dude, because it's now turned into interviews.
Yeah.
I would like to see him do his league report where he's going team by team, going stat by
feels
stat.
Like you're watching a guy and you guys are hanging out talking about the league. Or
yeah,
you just listening to him talk about the league at least.
Yeah, just talk. That's what I really liked about it. And then when he does the team deep dives, that's where I could see bringing somebody on. Like when we talked a little bit about how I build my team. He was asking me why I was playing all my talented linemen on the right side from center over versus spreading it across. And my answer was I would rather be elite running one way
Yeah.
than average running all ways.
That's interesting because I've done that in so many leagues, but for some reason I don't do that with the Cowboys. Like moving Zach Martin to left guard and having Travis Frederick, Zach Martin from the inside out, and then Tyron Smith on the left side. Like that would just be such a dominant offensive line. And I like to run to the left anyways. Spoiler alert. But I don't know. I just don't do that with the Cowboys. I probably should. It's probably like I'm at a disadvantage because I'm not doing that, but it's like an OCD thing, like because in real life Zach Martin is the right guard to me, and I just like can't comprehend that. But I think that's an awesome idea.
Subs, dude. I would do it on formation subs, bro. Like, I'm running I formation. Yeah, move.
See, my OCD can't handle that too. Like, I actually asked JT if he minded if this trade went through, if he minded if I moved Lyle Collins from left guard to right tackle, because I just couldn't in my mind actually for the rest of the season play a left guard at right tackle. It just like, I just start to cringe just at the thought. I don't know why. It's just like a mental thing for me. It feels off. It feels wrong.
Right. But, and we talked a little bit about that and why I do that and why what I'm looking back for in my linebackers and where I play different guys. I feel like I have really good depth. And if you look, you have to get to my 5th or 6th interior lineman before you find a guy under 83 block shed. I know people want to run, so I built for the run. So I think I would like to see more of that with people. So maybe he brings them on, or maybe he records it separate and then edits together if he can. But since he did interviews, now it's like interviews. It's like sitting down and it's like I don't want to listen anymore because mic quality is pretty bad between the two people because they're doing it through the PlayStation streaming.
Oh wow!
And then 2, it's just like what you do is you just stream Twitch on your PlayStation, and then me and you are in the party. Remember how we did for the draft, where we just turned our audio on for the party, and then people can hear us while we're talking. So, but once again, that's like, it's weird because the comms have to communicate with each other, then through PlayStation, then PlayStation out to Twitch, and it doesn't do any optimization for the quality like Zoom does or whatever. So, it gets pretty bad. Shout out to Jets. I know I didn't mention you much earlier, but for a guy that won the I saw talks about the Jets winning the free agency, and everybody was like, "Well, Jets bought out and bought a bunch of guys." And then I was like, "Well, Jets is Jets. You're still, you could have a bunch of good talent still be at the bottom, but he's tied he's at 5-3 for the division now. He may have been playing while we were talking. Yeah, he beat Tennessee 32-31. So, he's got Jared Goff. He's got Shavers, the 6'6" wide receiver, went for 102. So kudos to Jets who won his game. I don't know if my team has changed though for this Madden. I really want to be Lions in one of my leagues. So when we were talking about team selection earlier, I don't know. The linebacker thing is huge.
Still roll with Cowboys like
that. Right. You're still gonna right, but there's Von Miller has a better chance of winning PML MVP than Gerard Davis does at having that superstar catch trait.
True.
And I think I really think that's super underrated. Now, once again, I can do the PML thing, and one of the things Alliance does is they use they do the old nickel 3-3-5 that the Patriots have employed for years. So Miles Killebrew and a lot of other safeties play down in the box. They got a guy named Tracy Walker, so I could see myself doing that. But
they could have had Devin Bush, but they just had to draft a tight end at number 8 overall.
Right. Chiefs just went and grabbed I don't hate TJ Hawkinson for the in real life Lions. I just don't think it makes sense for Madden to take them to have a tight end in the first like that. But if he's got great stats, he's got great stats. So but yeah, I can see the Chiefs went and got Darren Lee today. The other day for 6th. So maybe Darren Lee has that ability. Who knows? It depends. If it's super elite, like literally 4 or 5 guys in the league have it, that'd be crazy. But if it's more relaxed to just,
awesome.
All the talented zone line, Roquan Smith, those guys will for sure have it. So
yeah, and I would say that would be awesome because I know The ratings guru or whatever is gonna have my back, and
Oh,
Leighton Vander
Jesus.
Esch, he only had a 40-inch vertical at the combine, so
Whatever. I offered Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman to the Bears for Roquan Smith, and he wouldn't give them up. So
yeah.
I think I'm going to be in trouble for next cycle as well, trying to get him. So, but I figured that's all we've covered a ton today. It's getting late. I've been trying to get to bed earlier, and here we are at 11:10, up talking about a video game. But we tried to keep the trash talk down, so my Yelp reviews go up. I think I'm sitting at a healthy 2.5 stars now, so maybe we can get that 3-star.
Make sure you guys smash that like button.
Oh, I knew it was coming. I still actually have your YouTube growth development tools, but when I exported it to my computer, I didn't export it to a folder. I exported it to desktop. So it's literally just all the tiny files all over my desktop. And I had to deal with that the other day. So, yeah, just did more harm than help. So thanks, Anthony, for that. So, all right, well, that's it. It is fucking 80 degrees in my house. I'm literally sweating doing this podcast. Dude. Yeah, my wife is an insane person. She's like, it's cold. I'm like, it's 80 degrees. Like,
you guys just turn the AC off altogether? See, it's like beautiful down here. We don't have to worry about that.
Really? We're back and forth. It's like AC on cold. It gets to 68. Yeah. I think something's broken with my AC. So right now we're just playing this vicious cycle where it's like I'm cutting weight for an MMA fight for a little bit in a sauna. And then I freeze my balls off. So it's one of the two. So, but I will catch you next time, 23rd. Catch the podcast or not podcast, but the Twitch stream for the second deep dive into the new features for Madden 20. And then join us after for a bitch session on what they missed out on and what they're ignoring. So, well, that's it. Thanks for joining me, bro.
Later, man.
All right. Good luck with your season.